pennants with Hugo Lloris. Last night, live from Barcelona, we brought you Manchester United's demise in the Champions League. Tonight, live from here in Manchester, we have the second leg of this very English affair for you. Although I can't help but smile listening to Ian Dennis in Portugal, where it's pouring down. The weather here in Manchester, Alan, it's like the south of France.
19 or 20 degrees here today. It was fantastic. No jumper or coat needed. It's pretty mild. And it's not raining.
He thought he'd got the short straw. But there he is in the rain. So we will keep you fully updated on what happens in the Dragao Stadium, which is where Ian is, watching Porto and Liverpool. Liverpool starting with a 2-goal lead, 2-0 from the first leg. We're just about ready for the start here. Let me run you through the teams again. Manchester City with Ederson in goal. Walker, Kompany, Laporte and Mendy are the back four. Both Stones and Otamendi are on the bench. Midfield of Gundogan, De Bruyne and David Silva. Fernandinho only fit enough to be a substitute. Bernardo Silva, Sergio Agüero and Raheem Sterling as the front line. Sunit Chakir is the referee and he blows the whistle, and Manchester City get us underway against the Tottenham side here, which shows just 2 changes from the first leg. So Wanyama and Moura come in. There's no Harry Winks and obviously no Harry Kane. So Tottenham with Lloris in goal. Back four of Trippier, Alderweireld, Vertonghen and Rose. Sissoko and Wanyama in the middle. Eriksen, Ali, Son Heung-min and Lucas Moura. Son scored the only goal of the tie so far. And it's just a little stoppage here because the ball was tapped out of play. And Tottenham are going to give the ball back to Manchester City. And it's struck forward by Sissoko to Ederson, who catches it and underarms it out. Manchester City sky blue shirts, white shorts and dark blue socks. Kyle Walker is over here with his holes in the back of his socks as ever, and the ball is pumped forward down the left hand side for Sterling, but not even Sterling will reach that, and it bounces away through for a goal kick to Tottenham, who are in their almost all green kit tonight, with the shirt, green body, dark green sleeves, green shorts and grey and green socks. So 1-0 it is on aggregate. Remember, in the first leg, Tottenham conceded the early penalty. Lloris made the save from Agüero. And they lost Harry Kane, Spurs, but still came through to win it with that goal from Son late on. Here's Kompany playing the ball back to goalkeeper Ederson to our left. BBC Radio 5 Live. Watching Ederson hitting the ball long downfield. This is for Bernardo Silva to chase. Up against Danny Rose. Bernardo Silva got a touch. Oh, and Danny Rose did well to come across the front of Bernardo Silva, who then gave him a nudge. And Rose went flying over the dead ball line. And Bernardo Silva immediately apologises. But that could have been nasty for Rose.
There was not a lot in that. A long kick from Ederson. Rose actually turned his back on the long ball, then got the wrong side of Bernardo Silva, but then got himself back into the right position, and Bernardo Silva just give him should I say, a little nudge there. It's nothing too bad.
No, I was worried that he might have gone flying down that slope and into the advertising hoardings, but he managed to pull up, so he's okay. So Manchester City 0, Tottenham 0. Former England captain Alan Shearer is here with us, and Lloris taking the free kick after that challenge, and it's landed at the feet of Gundogan, who's given it away, and now Wanyama will play it forward. Eriksen, here's Dele Alli onto the ball for the first time, overran it into Kompany, stood up really strong there, Kompany, because Ali was moving at pace there. Rose, low, Eriksen with a flick, but Dele Alli won't reach that. He's got this fractured hand, Dele Alli, so he's wearing a long sleeve shirt and he's got a grey coloured cast on his left hand, but as long as he's been able to train, he should be okay.
Yeah, we find it shouldn't be a problem for him. It's noticeable that Lloris with the goal kick, rather than like they did with the first one, try and take a short one. That one went straight upfield.
Sergio Agüero loses possession, and then it's played back calmly by Alderweireld. And as you can probably hear via your radio or however you're listening to us, the atmosphere is just as Pep Guardiola wanted it. It is loud inside the Etihad Stadium. Rose, left-footed ball, Kompany, little slip there, but the ball sailed away past him and through to Ederson, who will see the ball out to Mendy. Well, if they're able to keep this going for the whole of the match, then this is going to be quite a night. The home supporters, they have responded to Guardiola, who, despite the warm weather, has got the grey hooded cardigan on again. Here's De Bruyne. De Bruyne infield towards Agüero. Back to De Bruyne, who drives forward now into the middle of the Tottenham half. Lays it out to Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling onto his right foot. Curls a shot in! Brilliant finish from Raheem Sterling. That was high quality from Manchester City's number 7. And with 4 minutes on the clock, City have levelled the tie. 1-0 on the night, 1-1 on aggregate.
Well, what a magnificent start from Manchester City. Exactly what the manager and the fans and the players themselves would have wanted. Brilliant play from Kevin De Bruyne to get that ball and drive forward and play it out onto the left-hand side. 1v1, Raheem Sterling. How many times have we seen him cut in from that side, in the corner, Lloris, no chance. What a finish, what a start.
He had the space there, most certainly, to arrive, so he had time, but the finish, right-footed from the left side of the box, was absolutely deadly.
Magnificent finish. Lloris, no chance. He knows exactly what he wants to do, to try and whip it and bend it in that corner with pace. He did exactly that, side netting.
1-0 to Manchester City. That is exactly what Tottenham did not want. The early goal for Manchester City. And the tie changes. And here's Mendy on the left-hand side. Sterling, who's just scored his 22nd goal of the season. But City lose possession, and now it's been carried forward from the halfway line by Son, who's being forced out wide, and then not able to find Dele Alli. Huge cheers as City win the ball back. De Bruyne, who set up that goal so well for Sterling, plays it to Mendy. Now here is Sterling again. That's 7 goals in his last 8 appearances for Manchester City, for Raheem Sterling. And I must say, Alan, when you see him scoring like that, it feels that all of those years where we talked about his finishing are very much in the past.
His finishing has improved incredible amounts this season. Both, he's getting into so many goal-scoring positions now. We've seen it when he gets in at that far post, but we've also seen him in that position on the left-hand side where you know he wants to do it. He wants to cut in and have a shot. But it's one thing knowing he's doing it. It's another thing trying to stop him, because his feet are that quick and his finishing has improved that much. That was a deadly finish.
Here now, Manchester City come again, and the ball is played by David Silva, and here's Sterling again. He's got 2 defenders with him, and in actual fact the offside flag was up against Sterling. But for the goal, Sterling seemed to have an inordinate amount of time on that left-hand side.
Well, when he's got you in that position, because of his pace, because of how quick his feet is, Trippier knows he can go down the left-hand side or he can cut back inside. And if you give him that extra yard like he did, he's capable of doing exactly that. Brilliant from De Bruyne as well, though, driving the ball and driving that pass into him to allow him to be one-on-one.
Manchester City 1, Tottenham 0. And Spurs now with Moura. Dele Alli plays it through the middle, and it deflects to Son, who shoots it in. Spurs have scored. Ederson, it hit the Manchester City goalkeeper and was straight through him and over him and into the net. And Tottenham have scored 3 minutes after Manchester City took the lead. 1-1 on the night, 2-1 on aggregate to Tottenham.
Well, what a start to this football match. Son finds himself about 20 yards out. He decides to pull a trigger and have a shot. I think it takes a little deflection there, and Ederson dives one way, and he finds himself in the middle of the goal. He can't just get his legs to it. What a response from Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, suddenly Tottenham were all over Manchester City, and Son in the D on the edge of the area. Oh, it was a poor deflection to him, but Ederson went down too early.
He did. That ball just ricochets off Laporte, and it falls right in the path of Son there. He actually hits it in the middle of the goal, but Ederson tries to guess him, dives to his right-hand side, whereas if he stands still, he picks it up with ease.
It was central where Son was, and Laporte is at fault in terms of the way that the ball bounced on the edge of the area, and it bounced straight to Son, edge of the box, in the D. And as Alan Shearer said, Ederson went down to his right, the ball went to his left, and he tried to get a foot to it, but it bounced off his leg, down and up into the net. And it's 1-1, and that punctured the atmosphere. But City now coming again. David Silva on the left-hand side, but then important from Trippier to come in and whisk the ball away from David Silva and clear it downfield.
But that also tells you that's Tottenham are not going to be fazed by this, that they're still prepared to commit men forward, and they did exactly that. Yes, there was a little bit of luck in the ball falling to Son, but they had men forward, and Son was there to finish it off. I think the goalkeeper should do better though, because if he, as I said, if he just stands till he picks that up, he tries to guess Son that he's going to put it to his other side, and he didn't.
Laporte's overrun it on the halfway line, and Moura's taken the ball away from him. Moura now square to Eriksen. Eriksen across to Son on his right foot. Son scores! It's 2-1 to Tottenham, and it's Son again. He scored all 3 goals in the tie for Tottenham, and now it's completely turned around. Manchester City 1, Tottenham 2. That is 3-1 to Tottenham on aggregate, and Manchester City are absolutely stunned. The quadruple is in serious danger here, and Tottenham are looking at a semi-final in the Champions League.
Well, what a finish from Son. I said exactly that they're not going to be fazed. They're still prepared to commit men forward. They had 4 men on the edge of the box there, and it was brilliant play. And on that left-hand side, we were praising Raheem Sterling for the finish. What a finish from Son as well. Ederson this time, no chance. Very similar to the finish from Raheem Sterling at the other end.
And I'm afraid Laporte, the finger has to point at him again on the halfway line when he was dispossessed by Moura. But that was dazzling from Tottenham. No Harry Kane, but when there's no Harry Kane, Son seems to come to life. 3 goals in the tie. So important, the goal that he scored late on 8 days ago, which, remember, he shot underneath City's goalkeeper Ederson. But this one, Tottenham were devastating, and once it was onto Son's right foot in that position, I have to say, Alan, I was expecting goal.
Well, it was exactly the same as Raheem Sterling. We're saying, OK, we know what you're going to do, but it's one thing knowing and the other thing is stopping.
Agüero now comes forward, and Agüero slips it across to Bernardo Silva, shoots, deflected in! Good grief! It's 2-2! Bernardo Silva, it took a deflection. Llorente, standing to his right, was beaten. The ball crept in at the near post. It's now Manchester City 2, Tottenham 2, 3-2 Spurs on aggregate.
I can't do anything, but I cannot believe how both teams are playing so open. Bernardo Silva left with acres of space on that right-hand side to have a shot at goal. Defender just gets across, takes a deflection which sends Lloris the wrong way. Ball in the back of the net. What a game of football we've got here.
This is ridiculous. We've had 4 goals in the first 12 minutes. As the ball is pumped forward by Tottenham and it bounces through to Ederson. I can't believe this. I mean, we thought...
I'm staggered at how open both teams are, but Tottenham and Manchester City, that Tottenham were pushing so far forward, they got carried away with their second goal, that they just sort of let Manchester City have the ball and said, OK, come on, attack us if you want. So open.
So, Alan Shearer, final score prediction?
5-5.
It's still 0-0, by the way, between Porto and Liverpool in the Dragao. I suspect Ian Dennis is listening on enviously as the goals flash in at both ends. So if you have just joined us, extraordinary start to the game. Sterling scored for City in the 4th minute. Son scored for Tottenham in the 7th and the 10th. Bernardo Silva scored for City in the 12th. Here's Agüero on the edge of the area, but across comes Alderweireld to deflect it out of play. So Spurs 3-2 on aggregate at the moment. Here's Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side, back to Gundogan, and then Company goes back towards the halfway line. If you haven't worked it out for yourself, by the way, there cannot now be extra time in this match. Here's Walker on the right. Bernardo Silva turns Rose does well. Bernardo Silva still in. The ball runs away towards the dead ball line, and Vertonghen comes across and turns and puts it out of play level with the edge of the penalty area. City are back into their stride here. The tempo's up. Gundogan now to Mendy. Sterling wants it on the far side. Sterling makes his run. Oh, that's like dynamite. Sterling with a cross. It's headed away by Alderweireld and flicked further away by Eriksen. Great
wonderful run from Raheem Sterling, just stayed short, and then all of a sudden he runs in behind Trippier, and a good ball to find him from Mendy.
Given away by Mendy. Ali goes for the ball over the top. This is for Son to chase. Ederson's come out of his penalty area and he gets his head to it, 10 yards outside his box, and De Bruyne's just able to nod the ball back into Manchester City's central defence. So here is Gundogan bringing it forward. Mendy still 0-0 in Porto. We're going to go there when we get a chance. Ball back to Laporte. Laporte next to the centre circle, flicks the ball high towards the right hand side. You only wonder what the nerves and the adrenaline, and that's just for the supporters. Here's De Bruyne on the right hand side. De Bruyne on a run now, gets away from two men but overruns it through for a goal kick. So let us head to Portugal. And Ian Dennis.
I'll be brief just in case there's another goal. It's 0-0 here in Porto, although Porto did give Liverpool an early scare after 34 seconds. Corona cut in from the right, and his right-footed shot just over the crossbar. Barrega's also had a low, tame shot, easily saved by Alisson. 0-0.
Goal kicks still not being taken. So Hugo Lloris is just letting things, if they can, calm down. But in this atmosphere, I don't think that's possible. Mendy just thumps the ball back, having challenged Lucas Moura illegally. It's a free kick to Tottenham.
Well, I expected goals in this game, but I didn't expect 4 in the first 12 minutes.
Producer Gary has timed it as 4 in the first 11 minutes. So even faster. Well, you did say Tottenham would score, so you're right there. Here's Vertonghen playing the ball across to Alderweireld, and Alderweireld back to Lloris. So what did Tottenham, as Lloris is put under pressure by Agüero, plays the ball out to Alderweireld, comes back to Lloris, and then he goes long and can only put the ball straight out of play on the far side.
I'm just watching Son. He's been very clever in his movement. When Manchester City are attacking, he's just standing in between Kompany and Laporte and finding that little space, and then as soon as anyone of his teammates get the ball, he is off. He is running in behind, and that's the first ball that Tottenham are looking for.
Challenge from behind by Alderweireld on Agüero, who collapsed to the turf, but referee Chakia says no, it's only a throw in, and Trippier is able to get in and clear it away downfield towards the halfway line. So in this position, Alan, when it's a game like this, harum scarum, in these circumstances, I suppose Tottenham are wanting to take a little bit of the sting out of it, if ever they can, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, but the Manchester City are not letting them do that now. They've picked the pace back up to where they started before the game. There was a little bit of a lull for 30 seconds or so. Their crowd were up. Now, as I said, the crowd are now back up after that second goal. But Tottenham now will try and take the sting out of the game and kill the game for the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Alan Shearer with us on BBC Radio 5 Live. If you're on your way home, by the way, and you want to carry on listening to us, you can on your television via the red button, and alternatively via the BBC iPlayer, BBC Sport website and app as well, where you'll get the final score graphics and all of the various analysis, etc, etc. Just click on 5 Live final score. City with Gundogan playing it back to Kompany, and Vincent Kompany just touches it out here towards the right-hand side, and Kyle Walker sets off on one of those Kyle Walker runs. He's away from Dele Alli, and now Wanyama trying to reach him. Kyle Walker moving infield, just a little nudge from Wanyama. Down went Walker, and it's a free kick on this right-hand side.
I think it also tells us how far Tottenham and how far Son have come, that we didn't even mention the absence of Harry Kane for the half an hour leading up to the game.
I'll blame Mark Chapman for that.
Blame him for everything.
Yeah. De Bruyne then, Bernardo Silva. A little message from Mendy from Pep Guardiola, who gets a word of caution from the fourth official. Spurs have got everyone back to defend this. In fact, almost every Tottenham player is either in the penalty. In fact, they are now all in their own penalty area. Moura stepping back in from the D. De Bruyne then with a free kick runs over it. Bernardo Silva goes for goal with a curling effort, but it wouldn't dip quickly enough, and Lloris was able to go to his right and touch the crossbar and see it drop over and flick the netting. Goal kick Tottenham.
I think he perhaps went to the goalkeeper's side, because just at the last couple of seconds there, Tottenham put an extra man in the wall in Danny Rose. I think Silva was actually looking to whip that ball over the wall, but once that extra man went in, took that idea away.
Do you know what? I did think there was a chance it could be a tight affair this tonight. And after the first leg was only 1-0, the league match between the two before Christmas was only 1-0 when Mahrez scored the goal, but not a bit of it. Manchester City 2, Tottenham 2. So Spurs 3-2 up on aggregate. And Opta tell us that the 4 goals in 11 minutes is the fastest 4 goals that have ever been scored in a Champions League match. Here's Dele Alli, who chests the ball down and plays it back towards the halfway line, and Trippier is going to lift the ball across here to the left-hand side to Danny Rose. Gets it down, but immediately Bernardo Silva is all over him. So Spurs go back to Vertonghen and Wanyama, and here is Victor Wanyama. No Harry Winks tonight. If you didn't hear that news earlier, they hoped that he would be able to play Harry Winks, but a little groin problem. Trippier playing the ball down the right-hand side to Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura running away from Mendy, trying to cross, comes off the legs of Moura and bounces out of play next to the corner flag for a throw to Tottenham.
I think that's where they can get the success as well this evening with Moura and with Son running in behind the 2 fullbacks, because we know Walker and Mendy will try and push forward and have to.
Manchester City 2, Tottenham 2, almost 20 minutes played, but what a response from Spurs to going behind to the early goal from Sterling, and what a response from Manchester City as well. But they have exploited the space, City, that Tottenham have given them. Here's Trippier on the right. Trippier's ball in is headed away by Laporte. It comes out for Spurs. Eriksen tries a shot from 25 yards plus, but it flies away over the angle of post and bar, wide actually, into the lower tier to our left.
But noticeable again that they're trying to get in behind Mendy, with Trippier pushing on as well and whipping that ball into the box.
By the way, the substitutes, Company with the ball inside his own penalty area. Here's Walker. Walker now approaching the halfway line. Walker again goes past Wanyama. Still marauding forward, Kyle Walker. And then this time, in fact, that is given as a foul first by the challenge from Wanyama on Walker. But Walker then fouled Wanyama, but already he'd been fouled. Free kick taken by De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva is off and runner. Twinkling toes from Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne plays it across. Sterling's there at the back post. A second goal on the night for Raheem Sterling. It's 3-2 to Manchester City. It's 3-3 on aggregate. And Spurs just have the edge now on the away goals.
Wow, this is absolutely magnificent play from Bernardo Silva. Runs to go at goal, then has the little back flick into De Bruyne, who's running in behind him, and he whips a vicious ball across that 6-yard box. And guess who? Raheem Sterling, back post. What a finish, what a goal.
Brilliantly set up by Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne, and a really smart finish actually at the back post. Sterling coming in, still had a lot to do from a tight angle, but finished it superbly.
It was magnificent build-up play though from Bernardo Silva. Great skill and the technique with the back heel to put it in the path of De Bruyne. And once we know he gets in that right-hand side, you know what he's going to do. He's going to whip that ball across with pace, and he did exactly that. And it was still a tight finish for Raheem Sterling, but he took it away beautifully.
5 goals in the first 21 minutes. Manchester City leading Tottenham by 3 goals to 2. And this is shaping up to be an absolute classic. Long ball forward for Lucas Moura, left side of the penalty area. On his right foot, plays it back to the edge of the box. Son, who's on the hat-trick, but Manchester City have plenty of men back. Son turns, and then with his left foot finds Rose. Rose back to Son. So Spurs, if you're losing track of this, Spurs do still just have the edge by virtue of the fact that they've scored 2 away goals, and Spurs going back into their own half. But what a match, what a first quarter of the match. And from this point on, you feel that anything could happen. Given away by Alderweireld, then Sissoko. Thought that might have been a free kick for the challenge on Sterling, but referee Chakir says absolutely not, and he was less than 10 yards away. Here's Son now on the left-hand side. Son back to Sissoko with the 2 white wristbands on. Then back to Vertonghen, who will give it to Alderweireld in the centre circle. Vertonghen receives it back again. Feel that Tottenham have a greater threat when they're able to use the pace and break. And here they've got the ball, and City are just standing off them, and City have got it back. And now here is David Silva. Referee stands still to allow David Silva just to pass by him, and Kyle Walker will give it to Vincent Kompany, who will return it to Ederson.
But even then, when City get that third goal, they're playing such a high line that with the pace of Moura and Son, it's sort of simple for them with that long ball to run in behind. They're just missing that although they're great going forward, Manchester City, but they're missing that protection that Fernandinho normally gives them. Gundogan or De Bruyne, because they're both looking to get forward, are leaving the back four isolated time and time again.
Yeah. Remember those two games that Manchester City lost in December in the Premier League against Leicester and Crystal Palace when Fernandinho wasn't there? Well, clearly, when the team sheet came out, and Mauricio Pochettino and his staff will have been aware of the fact that Fernandinho was a doubt for this game, and that's exactly what they've looked to exploit. But it is Manchester City who lead on the night by 3-2. It is still Porto 0, Liverpool 0 in Portugal. Tottenham with Wanyama back to Vertonghen. Now Danny Rose. Son is here on the left-hand side. Walker must jump on his back. Son, that was strong play. Son now heading towards the penalty area. Kompany's in with a challenge. Excellent challenge as well. City look to break, but it is won back by Sissoko. And now Sissoko. Rose has space on the left-hand side here, just down in front of where we're sitting. Rose to Son, opens his body up, then Bernardo Silva slides in with a challenge. The ball runs down towards the corner flag. Dele Alli now, and in comes the challenge from Bernardo Silva to deflect it out of play for a throw to Tottenham.
It just seems as if every time a team goes forward, they're going to score a goal. I cannot believe how open both teams are playing when there's so much at stake.
And the pace, Alan, it's incredible. We've barely had a moment to draw breath. Rose takes the throw. 25 minutes on the clock. Spurs are just in front via the away goals rule. It's 3-3 on aggregate, 3-2 to Manchester City on the night. Rose, second consecutive throw, and Rose takes it all the way back towards Vertonghen, and Manchester City look to press. Bernardo Silva leads it, closing down Alderweireld, who pulls the pass slightly behind Vertonghen, and Vertonghen drives it forward, but Son has given it away to Gundogan, and then Gundogan's pass is intercepted by a sliding Wanyama on the halfway line, and Wanyama turns. He has David Silva all over him. Wanyama, however, is able to come away with the ball, and that's a clever little pass to Lucas Moura. Now Eriksen chipping it into the path of Danny Rose, brilliantly weighted and placed pass by Christian Eriksen. Sissoko again, whistles from the Manchester City fans. And then it goes back towards the halfway line. 25 minutes on the clock, and what a breathless 25 minutes we've just seen here, as it's played over the top by Alderweireld, headed away by Kompany on the edge of the area. Son in the full-back position, Ali near the corner of the box, then back to Eriksen on his right foot, looking for the run of Trippier, but this is passed straight into the path of Mendy. City have only cleared it to Eriksen though. Sterling, however, is able to get a foot on it. Now David Silva to Sergio Agüero. Agüero takes the ball out towards the left-hand side. He's up against Trippier. Oh, lovely flick, but slightly behind David Silva, and Tottenham have got the ball back. Eriksen finds a pass through the eye of a needle, and then Ali so close to finding the ball through the middle for Lucas Moura. That was cut out by Walker.
And there lies the problem. When Tottenham have that ball, all of a sudden, because De Bruyne is looking to get forward, and he's the one in the middle of midfield, they've got no protection, and Ali finds that little pocket of space, and his first thought is take a touch turn and ball in behind.
So does that bother Guardiola, or does he think, I'm confident that we'll outscore them?
Well, that will bother him, absolutely, because that's partly how Tottenham have got their couple of goals, because of lack of protection there. It has to bother him, yes.
Sissoko, 10 yards inside his own half. Forward to Ali. Ali now to Son on the left-hand side. Son back to Dele Alli, and then back towards Rose on the halfway line. People talk about Tottenham's mentality. They've shown a bit of mentality and character and strength here tonight. Son on the left-hand side. However, Manchester City are winning the game. Rose back to Sissoko, and then Sissoko rolls it to the Belgian Vertonghen, and Vertonghen to the right-hand side to Kieran Trippier, and then it's Alderweireld who gets a touch. Spurs, this is good possession inside their own half, and playing it back towards Lloris, and Lloris passes it out towards Alderweireld, turns in the full-back position forward to Eriksen. This is very, very good possession. Don't get too many teams having this amount of possession. against Manchester City here. Rose, however, the pass from Wanyama was slightly behind Rose and he couldn't control it. It bounced off him out of play for a throw into City on the halfway line, just inside Tottenham territory.
But still very positive from Tottenham. Even when they do go forward, they've got 3 or 4 players constantly on that City back line, asking different questions of them.
And the great thing for the neutral is that while I talk about the potential for Manchester City to score more goals, and Agüero is yet to get in on the act here, I feel that there could potentially be more goals for Tottenham as well, because of the way that they've started this game and the way that Alan Shearer has described City are without Fernandinho. Bernardo Silva back to Walker. There's been a first goal of the night in the Dragao. Ian Dennis is there.
And it's the crucial away goal for Liverpool to now give them a clear advantage. Sadio Mane sliding in after a lengthy wait, after consultation from VAR, but Mane sliding in, adjudged not to have been offside. Liverpool, with their first shot on target, have scored. They lead Porto by a goal to nil, 3-0 on aggregate.
Here it's 3-2 to Tottenham. To Manchester City, 3-2 to Manchester City. 2 goals from Raheem Sterling, 1 from Bernardo Silva, and Son scored both of Tottenham's goals. Bernardo Silva, awkward pass to David Silva, but he did brilliantly with it, and then slips the ball across, but through Bernardo Silva and straight to Danny Rose, who is able to take it down and play it forward via a little deflection. Gundogan now to De Bruyne. De Bruyne has 4 Tottenham players converging on him, and his pass across the edge of the box is straight at Trippier, who's able to clear it away towards the halfway line. So City can start again from inside their own half. Almost half an hour played, and what a half an hour of Champions League football we've had. Sterling now on the left-hand side. He has a chance for yet another hat-trick, Raheem Sterling, after his recent couple for England and for City in the game against Watford. Here's Laporte on the halfway line, back towards Gundogan, who's dropped a little deeper, and then Sterling. But now Tottenham have dropped back, so City go back towards the halfway line. The home supporters have played their part. The atmosphere has been superb. Forward towards Sterling. Sterling in the full-back position, tried to play it back to the arriving David Silva, but it was deflected out of play for a throw to City.
It's gone a bit dull for the last minute. We've not had a shot on target.
Where's the next goal? We've had 9 minutes without one. Throw in 10 yards back from the corner flag. Mendy to take this. There is movement there from David Silva. Raheem Sterling quite static. The throw does find David Silva, and it is deflected out of play for another Manchester City throw over on that far side of the field. Pep Guardiola just turns and stalks back to his seat. Seen a good deal more of him than Mauricio Pochettino. City coming forward again. David Silva. De Bruyne now back to Walker. 30 yards out. Walker finds a pass to Bernardo Silva, who's into the area. Left foot shot blasted across the penalty area. Flicked away by Trippier. Could have gone anywhere. The deflection took it out for another throw on the left-hand side.
Again, very positive from City. They work the ball from the left-hand side from Sterling all the way over to the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva, one-on-one, and has that shot at goal, and another deflection.
And I must say, the way that Ajax have played in their previous 2 ties, whoever they come up against, whether it be Manchester City or Tottenham, that show has great promise for a Champions League semi-final. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. City with Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva now trips back onto his left foot, plays it across, but it's headed away by Wanyama. Not great distance on that. And Bernardo Silva has actually, I don't think he meant it, but he ran into the back of Danny Rose, who has gone down flat on his back, and it is given as a free kick for the challenge by Bernardo Silva, who just jumped into him with his body, really.
It's a silly challenge, wasn't it? Because Rose was under pressure, and the only way he was heading that ball was heading it back to a Man City player. No need to do it.
So Tottenham have this free kick in their own left back position. Now the 4th official is in discussions with Mauricio Pochettino, or I think it's more the other way around. Passed just a little short to Vertonghen, but he rolled the challenge from Bernardo Silva, and Vertonghen is now bringing the ball forward towards the halfway line. You know, he can be so effective, can't he? The number of times we've seen him play as a left back, he kept going and he won the throw in on the halfway line. Still Mauricio Pochettino making a point to the 4th official. throw-in that Danny Rose is going to take for Tottenham. Sissoko comes short. Still he waits to take the throw. Still he's waiting, and then eventually to Sissoko, and then to Rose. Infield towards Wanyama, who passes it back, and Alderweireld has to scurry across towards the right-hand side. Here's Trippier. Manchester City putting the press on Tottenham again, but as it comes across to Vertonghen, he has a little bit of space here, and he's able to pull it onto his left foot and hit a low ball forward that bounces off Gundogan. Gundogan quickly back to Kyle Walker, and then Dele Alli is able to get a touch. Laporte has to hike it away, right-footed, but he does. To his left, to Mendy, and Mendy's off and running now down the left wing. And then the challenge comes in on him, spins to the halfway line, it bounces off Eriksen, but to the feet of Kompany, who can pass it back to his goalkeeper Ederson. Bernardo Silva does well to keep that in. De Bruyne turns, but turns into Wanyama, and the two of them collide. Referee Chakir says play on, but Son has sensed and noticed that Sissoko has taken a bang there, so he actually turns and rolls the ball out of play.
But just 30 seconds ago, Danny Rose was taking a throw-in, and he was taking his time. For the first half an hour, every free kick, every goal kick, every throw-in from Tottenham, they tried to take it quickly. They just need to take the sting out of this game. It's all right not taking a quick one, just to try and quieten things down for them.
That's Alan Shearer with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Manchester City 3, Tottenham 2, so it's 3-3 on aggregate. Spurs ahead on the away goals rule. Porto 0, Liverpool 1 is the latest in Portugal. Mane scored the Liverpool goal, so it looks as though Liverpool are on their way through to the semi-final against Barcelona. We'll bring you all of that action as well on 5 Live. Tomorrow we'll let you know how how Chelsea and Arsenal get on in their Europa League semi-finals, both in with a chance of reaching the semi-finals of that competition. And then on Good Friday, as it is this week, we've got a Round the Grounds programme in the afternoon, a full programme of matches in the EFL. So that is Friday afternoon, and Nigel Pearson and Gus Poyet will be guests on 5 Live Sport on Friday night. But City in possession inside their own half. Laporte to the far side. Laporte back in possession again. Of course, Tottenham will be here again in the Premier League on Saturday lunchtime. 12:30 kick-off. Here is Gundogan to Bruyne, then back towards Laporte in central defence. I hope it's like this again on Saturday. We've got commentary on that one as well for you on 5 Live. Here is Kompany playing it to the left-hand side, to Laporte. Laporte low and forward towards Agüero, quite a deep lying position. Agüero couldn't do anything other than hit the ball into Son. He's claiming that should have been a handball. Referee disagrees. Given away though by Son. Gundogan, we've seen thrills and spills, mistakes as well. Bernardo Silva now on the right-hand side for De Bruyne's run. De Bruyne drags it across to Agüero, turns and shoots into the legs of Alderweireld. Brilliant turn from Agüero.
Good play again from De Bruyne, looking to get forward in exactly that same position as where he whipped that cross in for Raheem Sterling a little bit earlier. This time he pulls it back into the feet of Agüero, who takes one touch and then tries to hit it on the turn, but good defending from Alderweireld.
Sissoko has gone down and stayed down inside the penalty area. Believe it or not, this is the first corner of the match. I suppose the problem is they've all been going in the net.
Back of the net.
That's why. So it's a corner. Just while Sissoko's receiving treatment, let's go back to Ian Dennis in the Dragao Stadium.
Well, Porto 0, Liverpool 1. That goal from Sadio Mane after 26 minutes is not the stuffing out of Porto. They trail 3-0 on aggregate. They need to score 4. They trail by 1-0. Good news for Liverpool.
Still Sissoko receiving treatment. So we're still waiting for this Manchester City corner from the right-hand side. Sissoko climbs to his feet. Still the medical staff are there just checking on him. Not entirely sure what happened to him there. He will have to leave the field, and he's quite an imposing presence, the former Newcastle midfielder. So it is a corner that's going to be taken by Bernardo Silva from the right-hand side.
Phew, we can take a little bit of a breather.
I know, it's been like that. One or two fans have taken the opportunity to twirl their sky blue flags. Sissoko is now off the field. play can resume. 3-2 on the night to Manchester City. Half-time approaching. 7 minutes or so away. Bernardo Silva, scuffs it straight out of play. Well, that's the prime contender for the worst moment of the night. Terrible corner.
Did he kick the ground before the ball then?
Or did he kick the... No, I don't think he kicked the post. The corner flag. I think he did kick the ground.
Even the best can do it.
Yeah, and he is one of the best. I was interested, he was on your list as a potential player of the year, Bernardo Silva, as well as, should say, Agüero and Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, he's been magnificent, hasn't he?
Here is Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling, 2 goals for him tonight, so that takes his tally to 23. That's as many as he scored for City in the whole of last season. Sissoko's gone down again, having come onto the field, and as you can hear, the home supporters smell a rat. They think that this is a tactic by Tottenham, but not a bit of it, because in actual fact,
Llorente.
Spurs are going to bring on Fernando Llorente, which I wasn't necessarily expecting, with Sissoko being the player who's likely to come off here.
It's a bit of a positive move from Pochettino, isn't it? That, mind you, it's no surprise in this game, is it?
I was going to say, positive move. 3-2 down on the night, but ahead, sensing, I suppose, the fact that they might need more goals in this game. But that surely will leave Tottenham open to Manchester City whenever they come forward. Sissoko is actually, looks as though he's going to need the stretcher, you know. He's still sitting on the ground. There are 3 Tottenham medical people on there, and he says, no, I don't need the stretcher. He's on his feet, but he's going to hobble off the field. It's a yellow card for Sissoko. What's all that about? Oh, is that a yellow card because he came back on? Did he come
back onto the pitch without the permission of the referee?
Possibly. That could well be it. Pulls up his shirt over his face. Agony for him. And it would appear it's a groin strain that is his problem, and he's having to leave the field. And he's been such an important player as well, incidentally, for Tottenham. He started the last 14 matches in all competitions. He's been a player that Mauricio Pochettino really relies on, and they will come here in the Premier League, obviously, it would appear, without him. So Sissoko is off. Now what are they going to do?
I think Dele Alli will just drop back, and Son will come onto this left-hand side and leave Llorente as the target man up front.
Llorente scored an important goal in the Champions League against Dortmund in the last 16. Here is Sterling now. Sterling playing it through to David Silva. David Silva into the box. Trippier did well with him, and also dispossesses David Silva. Went shoulder to shoulder there, Trippier. Terrific defensive work from the Tottenham right back.
I was surprised David Silva actually tried to check back then, because I thought he was ahead of Trippier and could get his shot away.
Manchester City leading Spurs by 3-2. If you've just joined us, City scored first, Tottenham came back and then went ahead 2-1. That was all in the first 10 minutes. Then Bernardo Silva scored in the 11th minute to make it 2-2, and then Raheem Sterling scored again to make it 3-2. And we've not had a goal now since the 21st minute.
Yeah, Dele Alli's just dropped back into midfield there in replacing Sissoko in alongside Wanyama. Son has definitely come onto the left-hand side, and Lucas Moura sort of playing in that 10 position now, just off Llorente.
Less than 3 minutes to go to half-time. BBC Radio 5 Live. You can listen via the red button tonight. And here is Llorente. Llorente out to the right-hand side, and it's swept across field to Son. Son now up against Walker on his left foot, shoots right across the face of goal.
What a lovely ball out to that left-hand side, and Son automatically giving them that little bit of width, and he finds himself one-on-one. Silva trying to get back in one-on-one with Walker, and he goes down the left-hand side and whips that ball across the far post there with his left foot.
There have actually not been many attempts that have missed the target, but that is one of them. You're right, Alan. Pass from Eriksen there to Son was exactly what he wanted. We see the effect of Christian Eriksen in that sense. You know, he's certainly a player that can find a pass. But the danger from Son, who was in for his hat-trick. It's out of play for a throw into Tottenham, 10 yards inside their own half. Mauricio Pochettino, all in black tonight, crosses his arms tightly as he walks to the edge of the coaching area. Danny Rose to take this throw in. Tottenham with the edge on the away goals rule. Llorente, Eriksen heading it forward towards Llorente. Walker's back onto it, and Walker plays it back towards Ederson, who just plays it back out into the full-back position along the dead ball line. Forward from Walker, flick from David Silva. Trippier's onto the ball low. Trippier tried to find Lucas Moura, but Gundogan stepped in, and Gundogan is off and running for Manchester City. Finds Agüero near the left corner of the box, looks for the run of Mendy. Mendy arrives on the ball now. Mendy, it just slows the momentum with Benjamin Mendy, and Trippier is very tight to the French full-back. Still Trippier's on him, and then the challenge comes in as well from Wanyama, and Wanyama comes out with the ball. City though get it back after it's played away. Walker thinks about a shot from 25 yards plus, but that was intercepted at source by Son Heung-min. We're in the 45th minute, half-time approaching. 3-2 to Manchester City. Liverpool still winning 1-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate. And
just for the first time there, John, is that when Man City were attacking then and Tottenham eventually won the ball back, because of the change of system and personnel, they looked up and they only had one person forward, Llorente.
De Bruyne on the right-hand side. Dele Alli, he's beaten by De Bruyne, who shoots, but scuffed it rather. And Lloris was able to drop down to his left and make a comfortable and routine save. And we'll see the fourth official just wandering forward now. What a half of entertainment that has been, though. Certainly the first quarter of the match, when we had all of the goals. Sterling, 3 minutes of added time. That must be time for at least 3 more goals. Here's Company with the ball halfway inside his own half. To the right, to Walker, has a look up for the run of Sterling, but actually gets it slightly wrong, plays it behind Sterling, who has to check back, bring the ball down. Eriksen, who Sterling's up against. Sterling then chips it to the edge of the area. Alderweireld got up high, headed it down. City with it back on the halfway line with Laporte, who was culpable for 2 of the goals. And Aymeric Laporte, which is most unlike him because he's been one of City's steadiest and most consistent performers this season. And the tall Frenchman brings it forward and then gives it to David Silva. David Silva near the corner of the area. Mendy arrives. Mendy swings the crossover and it's headed away by Danny Rose, but only out to Sterling, who's able to take up possession again for Manchester City. Closed down by Trippier. Sterling with his England colleague all over the back of him, and then Sterling belatedly goes down. But I think the free kick had already been given before he even went to ground. So a free kick out there on the left-hand side for Manchester City.
Well, Trippier learning his lesson then, wasn't he? He wasn't giving him a yard then. He wasn't letting him go down the left or the right, and actually had hold of his arm there and give the foul away.
That, in a sense, has been something of a difference in the game, in that 2 of Manchester City's goals came from space on the flanks.
Very difficult to pick up, though, particularly when they have that much width, with Sterling one side and Bernardo Silva on the other.
So De Bruyne is over there just talking to Mendy. De Bruyne steps away over the white line in added time at the end of the first half. De Bruyne drives it into the near post. It's chested away by Dele Alli, who got himself in position, and Spurs were able to clear. Mendy to the far side to De Bruyne. Benjamin Mendy, who was involved when I mentioned it right at the start of the evening, the Monaco-Manchester City tie. That was almost as crazy, if not more crazy, than this one, when Manchester City won 5-3 a couple of seasons ago against that great Monaco team. Here's Walker through the middle towards Agüero. Now Gundogan with a touch, it's hit the referee. That'll go down well. As then Dele Alli is dispossessed by Sterling. Sterling now to the edge of the area, but overruns it in between 2 Tottenham players. Vertonghen was rather relieved to be able to clear it away. Laporte is bringing it forward now for Manchester City. The home side are finishing the first half strongly here. Gundogan, City sniffing perhaps a 4th goal for them in this match. Mendy now on the left-hand side. Mendy's crossed to the near post, a stooping header away by Alderweireld, and it rolls out of play near the halfway line. Anxious moments for Tottenham, these. A Manchester City goal would see them in front in the tie. But the half-time whistle goes with City leading by 3 goals to 2. It's 3-3 on aggregate, and so Tottenham still just have the edge on the away goals rule. But what a half, Alan Shearer.
Wow, what a game of football that was. I expected goals in this tie, but certainly not as many as that in that opening period. And that first half, the way both teams went after each other was just incredible, playing such an open game. As that was, you have the ball, you attack us. Then it was the other way around. Some of the goals were breathtaking, and the players will need this half-time just to sit back and have a look at what's gone right and wrong in that first half. But for the neutral, a fantastic half of football.
So it went 1-0 City, 1-1, 2-1 Tottenham, 2-2 City, 3-2 City, and that's the way it is at half-time. 2 goals for Sterling, 1 for Bernardo Silva, 2 for Son, who's now got 20 for the season, and that is how it is at half-time. 3-2 to Manchester City, 3-3 on aggregate. Mark Chapman.
Bet you wish you did more radio, don't you? It's always like this.
Can I come again?
What do you attribute that utterly bizarre first 15 minutes to?
Well, from a Manchester City point of view, I expected it. We heard Pep before the game. We heard the fans before the game. He wanted the fans to make it a brilliant atmosphere. It was. We expect Man City to be on the front foot to attack them. They did. But what I didn't expect is that when they were doing that, and when they were losing the ball, to leave themselves so open at the back. And that was without doubt key with the loss of Fernandinho, because you had Gundogan, and you had De Bruyne, and you had David Silva in there, and all 3 of them were actually looking to get forward and make it a 6 rather than a 5, and having someone to sit and protect. And Spurs just picked them off at ease. But he got a little bit of luck with the first goal in the deflection, but the second goal from Son, the way he picked his spot and bent it into the corner, very similar to Raheem's first goal after a couple of minutes. Some of the finishing has been superb.
Liverpool a goal up in Porto. We'll go there shortly. John Murray, I don't know how much. Obviously there was quite a lot to watch on the pitch during that first 15-20 minutes, but both managers were out in their technical areas within the first couple of minutes. In fact, already within 2 minutes of the game starting, Guardiola was giving instructions to Kyle Walker on maybe changing something, and both managers appeared quite not tetchy, but nervous and up and down in that first quarter.
Well, I mean, you can only imagine how, if they had their heart rate monitors on there as 2 managers on the touchline. I mean, you're helpless on the touchline, and you're so close to the action. It means so much to them. We've spoken about it at length this evening about which one is it most important for. Look pretty important to both of them there.
Gale sent us a tweet. The weird thing is, if these 2 met in the league, it'd be a classic 0-0. We hope not, because we're back here on Saturday. The last thing we want is a classic 0-0 then. Nathan, can you imagine the guy who arrived at the Etihad 10 minutes late tonight? There will be someone. And Steve, the highest level of attacking football I've seen in 45 minutes for quite some time. 2 magnificent teams in every sense of the word. Just sorry someone has to lose. And whilst the attacking football has been sensational, both the Spurs goals, Alan, came from mistakes by Emerick Laporte, didn't they? And City have had such joy down both flanks. Both Spurs fullbacks have been in trouble numerous times.
Well, that's the way both teams have played. Both teams have been so open, which I found amazing. It's very difficult looking at how to defend Manchester City because of the width that they have. I mean, they're practically Bernardo Silva and Raheem Sterling at times have got chalk on their boots to give them that much width. But also what we've seen Raheem doing is when it comes on the right hand side, he's actually getting in there again, that we've seen him do so many times this season for a finish at the far post. Very difficult to defend when you're playing against such ability in that attacking phase.
So what do you say to Kieran Trippier, because he gets drawn in, doesn't he? And yet he's obviously got to help his 2 centre halves out, and if Raheem Sterling is staying out wide and coming in behind him as he did for the 3rd goal, or cutting inside and scoring his right for the first, what do you say to Kieran Trippier ahead of the second half?
Well, it's what he says to the people in front of him, because it's almost impossible when you've got Raheem Sterling with you one-on-one, because with his pace, with his trickery, he can go past you either way. So he's looking for that little bit of protection in front of him. Now, whether that was Dele Alli or Eriksen helping him out, or Sissoko when he was on the pitch to try and get over, just to give him that little bit of help, there was none of that. As time and time again, he found himself one-on-one, and Raheem loved that.
Guillaume Balaguer is back with us as well. What's the Spanish for keep it tight?
Pero hombre, I think you could hear both of them saying that. Pero hombre, you shouldn't do that.
I mean, did you see them both in that first 15-20 minutes? They were up from the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it, that in the previous game, City couldn't play through the centre, through the midfield, which is what they like to do. They couldn't do that. So they thought, all right, we're not going to be allowed to do that. And I think Spurs defended in the same medial block that they did in the first leg. Let's go long. So the first two balls over the centre-back played was diagonals to the wingers. So it was Laporte to Bernardo Silva, and it was Compine to Sterling. Right, that was the game. Because, by the way, there were 5 players of City waiting on the edge of the box. So De Bruyne wasn't a midfielder today. He was a number 10, but so was Silva. Bernardo Silva was wide. Sterling was waiting wide as well. And I think that was the key in the first few minutes. Sterling found the ball on his own. Spurs didn't shuffle across with at enough pace, so he then scored the first one. Then individual mistakes helped, but the whole thing had the pace of a Premier League game that forced mistakes and made it really, really entertaining, to a point where I think somebody behind me said, "What's the score?"
You think, and you mentioned it in commentary, Alan, that Spurs were sort of swept along in the whole thing, in the sense that everything was happening with such immediate urgency, when actually once they got it back to either 1-1 or 2-1, they don't need to be urgent.
No, and that's why I was really surprised that every goal kick, Lloris was trying to take it quickly, or every free kick the players were trying to take it, and every throw in, I'm thinking to myself, no, slow the game down, take your time. Someone go down injured, it's, whether you like it or not, that's part and parcel of the game, just to try and kill the game and take the sting out of it. But no, they were quite content to get everything back in play quickly and say, OK, well, we believe we're going to outscore you.
Before Llorente came on, they'd actually pushed Dele Alli further forward and put Son on the left. So was he looking for a greater physical presence up there, or Son to help Danny Rose out? What do you both think?
I would love to see this first half again, because there were times where Son was the number 9, then it was Dele Alli, and at the end it was Lucas Moura before Llorente came in. So he's constant, same as in the first leg. There's so much richness to what's happening on the pitch, but a lot of it had to do as well with reacting to what was happening at that particular point. So you've got Sissoko coming off. If the defensive line of City is so high up that you put the guy that's the fastest, but now he won't be the fastest, so they'll have to have a lot of people around Llorente. Lots of changes.
I think it was noticeable when Llorente came on. It was a system change that Son had to come over to that left-hand side, and Moura just went and played as that number 10. Dele Alli went into the midfield. So what in turn that made them do is it made them just retreat an extra 5 or 10 yards and sat further back. But when they did win the ball, whereas they were attacking Manchester City and had pace to hurt them, City have now got a different issue rather than problem to deal with. Rather than Llorente running in Dele Alli or Son or Moura running in behind it, they're now facing the strength and the hold-up play of Llorente, and that sort of suited Man City a little bit more, and I think that's why they had the majority of the possession, certainly in the last 10 minutes.
Remarkable first 45 minutes. John Murray's a superstitious man, so that means a pre-match gin and tonic before every game now if we get a 45 minutes like that.
Or two.
Let's go to Porto, Liverpool next, where it's not been quite as exciting by the sounds of it. Not that Liverpool will be complaining, will they, Ian Dennis?
No, they will not. Half-time, Porto 0, Liverpool 1. So Liverpool lead 3-0 on aggregate, and Porto now need to score 4 goals in the second half without reply. So Liverpool well on their way to another semi-final in the Champions League. The referee, though, has left the field to a chorus of boos and whistles because of VAR. Before the break, the Porto players and supporters wanted VAR to look for a handball shout. Wasn't consulted. It was never a penalty, by the way. It just hit the arm of Alexander-Arnold from Van Dijk's attempted clearance. But of course, VAR, after a lengthy delay, awarded the goal for which Liverpool lead, because initially the flag was raised by the assistant referee on this near side as Mane slid in to finish off inside the 6-yard area from Salah's attempted low curling shot for the goal. But Danny Macaulay didn't need to consult it himself, didn't need to view it again. Listening to his earpiece, he awarded the goal. But Liverpool needed that goal, Mark, because Their performance up until that point was as patchy as the mottled pitch here. It was Porto making all of the running. He wanted more from Origi. The Liverpool manager wasn't happy with Alisson's distribution. But Porto, although they were going for it, just lacked that little bit of quality in the final third. It was a little bit too frenetic. And the chances, they've never really extended Alisson in the Liverpool goal. So Liverpool are comfortable now, leading by a goal to nil on the night and 3-0 on aggregate.
Well, you won't want to go anywhere. This is BBC Radio 5 Live, and the second half of this remarkable match at the Etihad is the other side of the BBC News.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
With the BBC News on 5 Live, I'm Alison Hughes. Reports from the Portuguese island of Madeira say people have been killed and injured after a tourist bus came off a road and overturned. Some unconfirmed reports put the number of dead at 28. It's believed some of the casualties are from Germany. Our reporter in Portugal is Alison Roberts.
We know that there have been several deaths, according to the local mayor of Caniço, which is the town near which the coach came off the road and flipped practically over. He confirmed that there had been deaths, though he himself said the number remained uncertain. Also, several injured passengers have been taken to the nearest major hospital in the capital of Madeira, Funchal. Again, the hospital there is not yet giving out any information about that, either the numbers or indeed the nationality of those who were travelling in the vehicle. Madeira attracts millions of holiday makers each year, with countries like the UK and Germany sending very many.
The Foreign Office says its staff are ready to support any British people who need help, though it isn't yet clear whether anyone from the UK is involved. The Environment Secretary Michael Gove says the government has got the message on climate change and understands action has to be taken. Protesters from the group Extinction Rebellion have been blocking traffic in some parts of central London since Monday. Police say a man has been fatally stabbed in North London. The victim, believed to be in his 30s, was found seriously wounded in a street in Stoke Newington this afternoon. Pornography websites will have to check that their users are over 18 from July, or they could be blocked by internet service providers in the UK. The government scheme is designed to prevent children from seeing inappropriate content. Iraq's parliament has banned some online games, including the hugely popular Fortnite, because of fears they incite violence. Social media users in Iraq are accusing MPs in Baghdad of having misplaced priorities.
5 Live Sports.
5 Live presents ringside coverage from Madison Square Garden in New York as Amir Khan takes on the American Terence Crawford. Crawford ranks as one of the leading pound-for-pound fighters in the world, looking to defend his unbeaten record and his WBO welterweight title. For Khan, it's one of the toughest tests of his career and a chance to prove he still belongs at World Championship level.
A brilliant left hook to the body by Amir Khan.
Crawford versus Khan, live from New York, Sunday morning at 4 on BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is 5 Live, your football station.
The UEFA Champions League.
With Mark Chapman.
And if you arrive late here at the Etihad tonight, whoops.
Sterling onto his right foot, curls a shot in! Brilliant finish from Raheem Sterling! Dele Alli plays it through the middle, and it deflects to Son, who shoots it in! Spurs have scored! Moura now square to Eriksson. Eriksson across to Son on his right foot. Son scores! It's 2-1 to Tottenham. Agüero now comes forward, and Agüero slips it across to Bernardo Silva. Shoots, deflected in! Good grief! It's 2-2. Twinkling toes from Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne plays it across. Sterling's there at the back post. It's 3-2 to Manchester City.
3-2 to Manchester City. 3-3 on aggregate. City, of course, need another goal. Guillaume Balaguer, final one to you. Mauricio Pochettino, every other substitution that he could have made on that bench would either have been a like for like, i.e. another midfielder, or a defender. So he evidently feels he can't really sit back for the next 45 minutes.
No way he could do that, but he has to stop the mistakes that have cost his side, in the same way that City has made mistakes that have cost them as well. It's about concentration as much as it will be about tactics. But what a game.
Guillaume, thank you. You also pointed out to me the atmosphere in that first half was remarkable, and it continues to be remarkable. During that half-time break, they put up on the big screens some of City's most famous moments over the last 30 years, those I was there moments. Whichever way this goes in the second half, both sets of fans will be able to say, if they're in here tonight, I was there. We're back underway. Alan Shearer and John Murray.
Yes, let's bring it on now for the second half of what has been a thrilling night of Champions League football here at the Etihad Stadium, as the ball is played all the way back to the Manchester City goalkeeper Ederson. So Ederson in goal, a back four of Walker, Kompany, Laporte and Mendy. Again, there is Walker just heading it back to his goalkeeper. Midfield is Gundogan with De Bruyne and David Silva. Fernandinho only fit enough to be on the bench. Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling and Sergio Agüero. City just playing the ball around in their defensive third, and Gundogan stepping away with it. The Tottenham side, Lloris in goal. Back four is Trippier, Alderweireld, Vertonghen and Rose. In midfield, Wanyama and now Dele Alli, after Moussa Sissoko had to go off in the first half. And then Christian Eriksen, Lucas Moura, Son Heung-min and Fernando Llorente, the substitute. So it is 3-2 to Manchester City, 3-3 on aggregate. So Spurs currently in front by virtue of the away goals rule, and it's out of play for a throw into Manchester City down the left-hand side here that Sterling is just going to throw to Benjamin Mendy. City in the sky blue shirts with the white shorts, dark blue socks, and Tottenham in their green change kit tonight with the dark green sleeves and the grey socks with the green tops. Gundogan in the centre circle. City in the second half from where we sit here, which is in the lower tier just to the left of the tunnel. City are playing from right to left, and Sterling, 2 goals for him tonight, plays the ball back to Laporte. 2 errors from him tonight, leading to Tottenham's goals that were both scored by Son, who has 20 for the season now. Bernardo Silva, the other goal scorer, via a deflection. Here is Laporte and Mendy infield towards Gundogan. The noise continues to be terrific. Agüero to De Bruyne. De Bruyne into the D. Thought he might have been pulled back by Son. He was, says Sunit Chakir, the referee. Just seemed to be a hand on his shoulder, Alan Shearer. Free kick.
Absolutely. It was a lovely ball into Agüero, who then just took the ball around the corner into the path of De Bruyne, and he was definitely fouled there, just 2 or 3 yards from that 18-yard box.
Yeah, there was a hand on his shoulder and another hand on his arm watching the replay, and indeed Danny Rose slid in as well, but it's a free kick in a great position for Manchester City.
I was just about to say, this 11 minutes of this opening half won't be as good as the first half, but here we go. There's a chance.
I don't think we can assume anything with this game tonight, Alan. Who's it going to be from here? De Bruyne certainly seems to be the candidate, the favourite. He's got the ball, which is always something of an indicator. You used to like them from this sort of range.
I did, and Silva had the one in the first half, didn't he? So De Bruyne's putting the ball down, so my guess is him.
It's 2 or 3 feet outside the D, just slightly right of centre. David Silva is there as well, so let's not completely discount him, but it looks like De Bruyne. And Hugo Lloris dancing around on his line. The wall is ready. The referee just sees that Lucas Moura is not 10 yards away, so he quickly retreats. Referee now backpedals. Here we are. De Bruyne with the free kick for Manchester City, over the wall, but over the bar as well. Got the whip on it, but by a foot and a half into the supporters behind the goal.
Yeah, never really troubled Lloris in the goal. Difficult skill to get it up and down from there. He went to the goalkeeper's side also, but you're right, it's about a yard and a half over the bar.
Yeah, that's Alan Shearer, the former England captain, with us on 5 Live here tonight. Liverpool winning 1-0, so seemingly on their way through quite comfortably to their semi-final against Barcelona. This will be, in this half of the draw, Ajax against, who knows? Honestly, who knows? Just feel that it's totally unpredictable what could happen here. Walker past Son, down the right-hand side. Walker surges forward, have been a real feature of this match. He gives it to Agüero. Strong play from Agüero. 3 Tottenham players eventually win the ball back from him. And then the ball up to Llorente. Well, he's going to have to hold the ball better than that, Llorente. He missed it completely, and Manchester City have got the ball back. Could play an important role for Tottenham in this second half. Llorente, now in the latter stages of his career, 34 years old. Here's Eriksen heading the ball back into his own half to Trippier. A stretch from Wanyama, and Manchester City are back in possession. Bernardo Silva, quick feet. De Bruyne now through with a first-time pass to Agüero, right side of the penalty area. Alderweireld went with him, left-footed cross. Eriksen arrived to head it away, but only to De Bruyne. And then Gundogan just outside the D. That's excellent play. And now across from David Silva. Sterling with a shot. It's saved by Lloris. Well, he fumbled it really, and he was very fortunate there that the follow-up from Bernardo Silva was scrambled wide.
Oh, again, superb play from Man City on the edge of the box. The way they move the ball with pace out to David Silva on the left-hand side, who whips it across that box there, in for Sterling. Finds himself 7 or 8 yards out again, and it's a wonderful save from Lloris down to his left-hand side.
However, he just shoved it out into the 6-yard box, and Bernardo Silva, who was arriving, there was a defender there with him, and Bernardo Silva wanted a corner for it, but it was given as a goal kick. So it remains 3-2 Manchester City, but that's the first real shot across the bows in the second half in terms of a flowing Manchester City move. City with it at the back. Laporte hits that very cleanly forward, and Vertonghen was able to back away under pressure from Agüero. Alderweireld lifts it out towards Danny Rose. Already 5 minutes played in the second half, and the whistles from this capacity crowd at the Etihad Stadium. It is a sellout, and the whistle is because Tottenham are in possession. Alderweireld with a raking ball forward, but onto the chest of Kyle Walker. 5 Live. You can also listen via the red button tonight, by the way, also via the iPlayer, via the BBC Sport website and app. Just click on 5 Live final score. Here's Dele Alli on the edge of the area, gives it away to Agüero. Agüero across, Bernardo Silva in the box on his left foot, skips past Ali in the D, still Bernardo Silva, then cuts back, and then in comes Dele Alli to sweep it away, right-footed. For once, he tried to do too much. He did have options. Here's Walker down the right, but his cross takes a deflection off Son, and it's straight behind for a City corner.
Well, again, attacking with pace. This time with Silva on that right-hand side. Bernardo Silva, he was just looking for that little bit of space, that gap to get his shot away. But good defending from Tottenham. One player closed him down, and then another did, and they eventually blocked him out.
I think, Alan, we are in one of those periods of intense Manchester City tempo. That's what we're watching. Corner from the right-hand side for City. Here it is, Bernardo Silva swings it out towards the edge of the penalty area. Agüero got his head to it, and it's nodded away on the edge of the box by Eriksen. Sterling is actually running back into his own half and then passing the ball half the length of the pitch to Ederson, who slips actually at the crucial point as he cleared it and has sliced it via a bounce, turned like a leg spinner, that out and beyond Guardiola, in between the two managers, and it's a throw-in on the halfway line. 3-2 to Manchester City, so 3-3 on aggregate. Tottenham in front because of their 2 away goals. Trippier takes the throw, and David Silva, Eriksen wins a header, and then Wanyama returns it to Rose near the halfway line. Danny Rose to Son, who, like Sterling, is on a hat-trick, but he's dispossessed by Walker. Walker gives it to Bernardo Silva. Manchester City pouring forward. He has the option of David Silva. He was fouled, Bernardo Silva, but he found Sterling, and the referee waves play on, and it's played across. That looked like it might have been a handball by Agüero. Played back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne's shot! What a save by Lloris, diving to his right. That was hit with some pace there, and it was clawed away by the Tottenham goalkeeper as he dived to his right.
Fabulous save. A ball from Raheem Sterling into Agüero at the far post. He realises no shot on, so he just lays it back to the edge of the box, and then De Bruyne gets a brilliant strike away, and in opposite hand he just pulls it over Lloris. Wonderful save.
I did think Agüero handballed it in the midst of all that. However, it's a corner, and it's going to be taken by Gundogan. Gundogan right-footed towards the back post. Important header up and away. It was Llorente who was in there to head that away, back in his own penalty area. Mendy to corner taker. Gundogan turns. That's a clever ball from Gundogan to Mendy. Mendy's first time cross cleared on the edge of the penalty area by Alderweireld. Manchester City take possession again, and this is full swing Manchester City here that we're watching. And Sterling now trying to cut in from the right hand side. Llorente is back there, scrambled away again, but taken up again for City by Bernardo Silva. They're at full tilt, the champions. Here's Agüero now in the full back position. Agüero to the byline. The chip though is beyond everyone and bounces into the other full back position to Bernardo Silva. Now back centrally to De Bruyne, 25 yards from goal. Then he rolls it to Kompany, 30 yards out. Kompany to the right hand side where Bernardo Silva is body checked by Llorente. There wasn't too much force in that, but Bernardo Silva took the invitation, went down, and it's a free kick on the right.
Tottenham just can't get out. A very familiar theme to what happened in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Just because Llorente is coming, the ball is not sticking. Whenever they get the ball back, they've got no options at all. So they keep on giving the ball back to Manchester City, inviting pressure onto them.
This period of the game here could be absolutely crucial. If Tottenham can hold out, Manchester City are piling the pressure on their visitors. Free kick from the right. Manchester City have 4 players inside the penalty area. Here is the delivery in. It's glance-headed across by David Silva, who got to it well, looked to just help it on, but helped it over and high, and it's a goal kick for Tottenham. And I agree with you, Alan, if they've got any sense here, Lloris, which he has, he's going to take as long as he can to take this goal kick and try and take a little bit of the sting out of this, but Manchester City are coming on so strong at the moment,
putting them under so much pressure.
10 minutes of the second half played. 3-2 to City. BBC Radio 5 Live. Llorente wins a free kick from Mendy. Still Liverpool winning 1-0 in Portugal. Sadio Mane, the goal scorer there, and Mauricio Pochettino just coming to the edge of the pitch. Just a little word to Kieran Trippier. And Tottenham take the free kick back into their own half, but Sterling's all over Trippier, who has to play it forward to Lucas Moura. Hoisted back to the halfway line by Laporte. And now Vincent Kompany is able just to, with an outstretched leg, play it to his goalkeeper. Passed forward directly to Gundogan. De Bruyne, for once halfway inside his own half, De Bruyne, but then quickly as he gives the ball to Laporte, De Bruyne's over the halfway line in the middle. Ball still on the left hand side here with Mendy, and then Laporte to Kompany. And the Manchester City captain, shaven headed, rolls it to the right hand side. Kyle Walker now puts his foot on the ball 10 yards inside Tottenham territory, but passes it straight to Eriksen, and Spurs could be in business here. Lucas Moura plays it through and beyond Kompany, and Son, what a recovery from Kompany, but then Llorente's involved as well, and Kompany actually did well in terms of his positioning there, and Tottenham lost the ball on the edge of the penalty area. Still Spurs coming forward, and the ball played into Llorente, who gets ahead to it, but it was bundled away by the goalkeeper Ederson, who moved quickly to his right.
Well, first and foremost, they were so open again. It was a brilliant run from Son to find himself 1v1, but Kompany managed to get himself back in, and then they find themselves a free header for Llorente, 6 yards out. Good save, should score.
It's out of play for a throw in to Tottenham on the left hand side, and there we saw the threat that Tottenham can still pose. And it might fall for Eriksen on the edge of the area. He shoots low, but he shoots straight at Ederson, who's able to scoop the ball up into his chest. Back to Portugal and Ian.
Liverpool still lead by 1-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate. I said at half-time that Jurgen Klopp wasn't happy with Origi. He's been replaced at the start of the second half by Firmino. Liverpool still comfortable. 1-0 they lead.
Manchester City coming forward with De Bruyne, skips past Wanyama, gives it to Agüero, shoots, oh, he scored! Agüero blasts it in from the right side of the penalty area, and the tie now tilts to Manchester City. And who scores the crucial goal? Well, it's Sergio Agüero, of course. 4-2 Manchester City on the night, 4-3 on aggregate, and now Pep Guardiola's team are looking towards the semi-finals.
Well, again, superb play from Manchester City. Gundogan picks that ball up, he looks up, he finds De Bruyne in that number 10 role, he fizzes that ball into him, he takes a touch
from De Bruyne and Agüero. I mean, Lloris is beaten at his near post from the shot from the angle, but it was hit with so much force. It flew past Lloris. He almost didn't see it before.
Yeah, but that's it. That is it near his near post. When, as a goalkeeper, you can't be beaten then by in that position. He tries to guess and he sits down and it goes past him on the near post. And yes, it's powerful. Yes, it's hard for him. But if he stands up, he saves that.
And immediately Guardiola turned to the bench and called for Fernandinho to come on. So he will be arriving on the field very shortly. You know, we don't know how. It must have been touch and go for him to be on the bench, and he's bringing him on now for what will be the last half hour with Manchester City in front. A foul by Gundogan.
And you go from one end to the pitch to you've got Llorente with a superb chance, a free header from 6 yards out, misses it. A minute later, it's in the back of the net. Agüero's
goal in the 59th minute. Trippier on the right-hand side. Trippier to Son, who had a little look to see if he was onside. Chests the ball down. They're wanting a handball for that. He's challenged by Mendy. The ball bounced off Son and it's a goal kick. And I think we will see the change now being made by Manchester City. Although he's still receiving his instructions here. But the place, I mean the noise inside the stadium here. Just listen to this.
This is what he asked for.
And this is what he's getting. Just City. The ball wasn't out of the penalty area. Ederson took a goal kick. And now the dynamic completely changes. But, you know, City being City, they might be bringing on Fernandinho, but Guardiola City will go for more goals. I'd be amazed if they don't. And why not with the talent that they have? Here's Sterling. Sterling through. Bernardo Silva. Oh, tried to play it across. Important, crucial interception from Vertonghen, who just got his legs together in time and was able to clear it away. Still Fernandinho waiting to come onto the field. So who's going to be sacrificed for Fernandinho's arrival?
Well, Gundogan's the one that's sitting and trying to play in his position.
Ball played forward towards Mendy, but he won't reach that, and it will run out of play. Well, we'll find out now. And in actual fact, it's David Silva, so he obviously wants both Gundogan and Fernandinho in there. So David Silva makes way. Off he comes, just wiping his sleeve on his nose. Great ovation for him, such a favourite, of course. David Silva, 33 years old now, but a Manchester City player for almost 9 years and such a big part of this Guardiola team that is now, if the score stays as it is, heading into the semi-final of the Champions League.
It is 4-2, isn't it?
It is 4-2 on the night. Here's De Bruyne. De Bruyne does well, plays it back to Agüero. The ball bounces away from him as the challenge comes in, and it bounces to Tottenham, who clear towards the halfway line. That looked like a handball by Llorente. It was. Huge cheers now. They've got to dig deep here, Tottenham.
They have, and Llorente's got to do better. He's on that pitch to hold the ball up now. He's 1v1 v Laporte there, but he handles it. He's got to do better. He's got to bring them into the game, because when they look up, they're looking up to him to be the target man.
Company takes the free kick to Sterling on the left-hand side, and City go back into their own half. 4-2 on the night, 4-3 on aggregate, and we have less than half an hour to go now. Tottenham, Mauricio Pochettino stands on the edge of his coaching area. Mendy playing it out to Walker on the right-hand side. Walker just checks back and plays it to Company. Company thought about the long pass to Sterling, who's here over on the left-hand side, but Sterling actually just using his palms, pointing at the pitch, sort of suggests that City are more circumspect. But here's De Bruyne again, dangerous De Bruyne, plays it into the middle. Trippier came across. Lloris, I think, was going to collect that, but Trippier cleared it away. And Walkout cast a sprint here to get ahead of the ball from Llorente. And actually his touch takes it out of play for a throw into Tottenham down the left-hand side.
De Bruyne has been absolutely magnificent tonight. The way he's finding those little pockets of space, the way out on that right-hand side and whipping those balls in, the way he did to whether it's a cross or whether it's a pass into Agüero for Agüero's goal, he's been superb at doing that.
Just trying to think. He set up the first goal for Sterling, and he set up the third goal for Sterling, set up the fourth goal for Agüero, and I've got a feeling it was him that passed it forward to Bernardo Silva, who actually had a lot to do, but he's been absolutely instrumental. Kevin De Bruyne now back to full fitness and firing, and now City coming forward again. Agüero might look to De Bruyne. Agüero though dwelt on the ball too long, and Wanyama was able to come in and dispossess Agüero, who incidentally has just scored his 30th goal of the season. Sergio Agüero for Manchester City, the club's record scorer. He hit that ball with some feeling as Lloris was beaten at his near post, but it flashed into the net, and that might be the point. But I'm loath to predict anything in this game, as Gundogan wins it back from Wanyama on the halfway line, plays it through to Sterling, left side of the penalty area. Sterling looking to tee it up for Gundogan, plays it across the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away by Rose, and the offside flag is up.
Oh, it's 100 mile an hour again, John, isn't it? Sterling running him behind, chooses not to whip it with his left foot and come back onto his right foot and pulls it back into Gundogan, I think it was, but then the linesman gives offside.
Straight to Portugal, a goal, Ian Dennis.
Liverpool have got a second. Mo Salah on the counter-attack, slid in by Alexander-Arnold, diagonal ball. Salah wasn't going to miss. Low, left-footed, 2-0 on the night, 4-0 on aggregate.
And Liverpool, we can say now definitively, are going through, and it will be Liverpool-Barcelona. You'll hear those matches here on 5 Live, and it will be, as things stand, Manchester City against Ajax in the semi-finals. But we're not counting any chickens yet, not in this game.
Just looking at Guardiola there on the touchline, he's going berserk at Sergio Agüero to hold that ball up, because the ball came into him and he lost it.
Yeah, that in the early days under Guardiola, that was something of a theme, wasn't it? Sergio Agüero, he wanted more of an all-round game, and now, of course, he's got the all-round game, and he's got the goals as well from Agüero. 30 goals in the whole of last season, and that is now, as I say, 30 goals for this season with time to add.
It's not a bad return, is it?
It's not. You were used to getting to that mark season after season.
Why do you think I said that?
I suspected you were looking for that. I delivered. Here's Gundogan to Mendy on the left-hand side. Mendy now low and across to Agüero. Touch with his left foot just outside the D. In comes the challenge from Wanyama and Vertonghen. And Tottenham have got the ball back on the edge of their own penalty area. Lucas Moura on the left-hand side. He's been quite peripheral, Lucas Moura, in the second half. Mind you, Tottenham have spent most of the second half on the back foot, and eventually the ball is deflected out of play for a throw-in to Manchester City, 10 yards inside their own half. Incidentally, I think I've found a great cure for jet lag watching a game like this. And somebody gives me a sweet. I don't think I've got time to eat that, but thank you very much. And it's a throw-in to City on the far side of the field, which is taken. Here's De Bruyne, and then Bernardo Silva. That's a beautiful ball. De Bruyne tried to give it back to Agüero. The challenge came in on him from Vertonghen, and Vertonghen crucially and importantly got the ball. That was inches away from a penalty, but a good challenge by Vertonghen. Gundogan, Sterling centrally, challenge beaten by Trippier. Now Eriksen. Of course, another goal for Tottenham would swing it back Tottenham's way. Fernandinho is picked up for a foul on Eriksen. He got up, picked the ball up, Fernandinho, and was verging on dissent for the way that he reacted there. And Fernandinho quickly backs away from the incident. And referee Shearer is actually he's actually walking right across to Fernandinho, and I think the message there is, look, I'm refereeing this game.
I thought he actually got the ball, and obviously that's what he's saying to the referee.
We're into the last quarter of the match. Manchester City are leading Tottenham by 4 goals to 2, so that is 4-3 on aggregate. But as I say, one more Tottenham goal and Spurs would be back in front on the away goals rule. Long and forward over the top. Company wins the header against Llorente. Another goal in Porto. Ian Dennis.
Porto have reduced the arrears on the night. Porto 1, Liverpool 2, but Liverpool lead 4-1 on aggregate. Just a consolation. Bumping header by Militao. 2-1 Liverpool.
Manchester City coming forward again. Here's Gundogan just in front of where Guardiola is standing. Plays it infield to Agüero. Agüero skips away from Vertonghen. He's also got Wanyama coming in on the challenge there. And then Vertonghen also arrived. And one of them caught him. It is a free kick. I think that's all it will be.
Brilliant play from Agüero. Talking about it the other end where Llorente is not holding that ball up. That ball went into Sergio Agüero. He turned, he kept hold of it. The ball stuck to him, and there was no way that a Tottenham defender was taking it off him without fouling him. That's what Llorente has to do at the other end to get Tottenham back into this game.
One more goal for Manchester City. I think that would be really tough for Tottenham to come back from. We still have 20 minutes to play. De Bruyne with this free kick. Orange boots. 3, 4, 5 steps back. Raises his right arm. De Bruyne's delivery into the 6-yard box, right into the midriff of Lloris, who's able to catch that ball.
I think that's a good ball whipped in. You know, I think what he's expecting from one of the forwards to just to try and get across the goalkeeper. Then no one actually moved.
Lloris, you certainly felt that he should have done better with the shot from Agüero that beat him at the near post. Absolutely right. You know, any goalkeeper beaten at the near post. Here is Eriksen. Eriksen, in comes the challenge from Fernandinho. Another little foul. Free kick to Tottenham. Dele Alli. And Dele Alli certainly, since he came back, you know. But
that's the difference. The ball went up to Llorente then. He flicked it on. They had the runner and they got the free kick. Now Tottenham are on the attack.
Dele Alli playing it to the left-hand side to Rose. Good work back by Bernardo Silva to dispossess Rose, but he's landed it on the chest of Dele Alli, who's out on there on the left-hand side. Eriksen, back to Dele Alli. Eriksen just drags the ball and then flicks it forward towards Eriksen. Now Wanyama forward of the centre circle. Wanyama to the right-hand side to Trippier. Trippier's ball into the penalty area to Son. Ederson didn't take a chance there. Decisive goalkeeping. He came out along the dead ball line and put in the challenge. It's like a tackle. He loves that, Ederson. And he tackled it out of play for, did it go out for a corner or a throw?
Corner, I think.
Corner.
It's a wonderful run from Son. They're trying to claim he was offside, Son, but he wasn't. He ran from the middle, broke the offside trap. Goalkeeper comes out and smothers it out for a corner.
Son showing again there what a different challenge he provides for Tottenham. Here's the corner then. Rose takes it to the back post. Ederson comes, stretches and doesn't take it in amongst a crowd of players. Off his fingertips though and beyond for a corner from the other side. These are Tottenham's first corners of the game. There's a Manchester City player down, Bernardo Silva, I think it is, inside the penalty area. Bernardo Silva, who remember didn't play in the match 8 days ago at the new White Hart Lane because of an injury, but he's back on his feet and we'll see Tottenham's corner from the opposite side. Trippier is going to take it in from that flank. Llorente, Spurs will be looking to him at the back post. Here is the delivery into the 6-yard box. Company with a chip. It's deflected in. Llorente runs away. Spurs have scored to make it 4-3 on the night, and now Spurs are back in front again on away goals. The deflection at the near post, it took a touch off Company. Llorente was there and he sprinted away in celebration. 4-3 on the night, and now Spurs have the edge again.
And the Man City players are surrounding the referee looking for VAR. They think he might have touched it with his arm in there.
So let's hold fire on this. It was over the top of Company. It hit Llorente, and was it? Well, the replay that we're watching here, it looks as though it hit his hip.
Does it come off his arm first?
It comes over Company. I think it hits his elbow.
It hits his elbow first, and then goes onto his hip there. And now you can see Guardiola claiming that he thinks it's handball also.
His elbow is tucked into his body, but in the presentation that we received from Roberto Rossetti, the head of the UEFA referees, he made the point to us that we do not want to see goals scored off players' arms.
Absolutely.
So I have a feeling that this might be overturned. And referee Chequia is making the rectangular sign in the air. and he's going to come across here to have a look at this for himself, because in UEFA matches the decision rests with the on-field referee. So the VAR official Massimiliano Irati has told him from the control centre to come and have a look at this and see what he thinks. He'll be receiving advice all of the time, and because of the fact that it did strike the elbow and then the body, so it came in, struck the elbow, then struck the hip of Llorente as it deflected into the net. The referee, I can see him just down to our right, watching the screen that is on a little hoist up at head level, and he's talking away as the pictures are being shown of Llorente, and I can still see him. There is quite a conversation going on between the Turkish referee and I presume Massimiliano Irati in the control centre that we can actually see pictures of here. And now the referee still talking away. Now our expectation is that they will feel that having struck the arm on the way, and the referee turns.
Goal.
He's given the goal. Well,
I'm very surprised.
I am surprised. And Mendy, you know, the players will have seen this. So that is it. It is Manchester City 4, Tottenham 3, and that means that it is 4-4 on aggregate, and that Tottenham are in front again on the away goals rule. And Fernando Llorente, this bit part Spanish striker, has played a very important role in this Champions League tie. So now Manchester City pouring forward again. Sterling into the penalty area. Agüero left-footed, but blasts it wide of the near post and into the fans behind the goal. And what that's done as well is just kill the atmosphere a little, that delay that we've had. I was actually going to say to you, you know, Alan, that all of the goals and all of the excitement and all of the action, VAR hadn't got involved until then.
I was surprised at that decision because it's a European night, because of what we've been told and what to expect. That has definitely hit his arm first and then on to his hip. So I would have thought that the referee would have given that as not a goal.
Well, it'll be interesting. I think we will get an explanation from UEFA on that at some point. Here's Son on the right-hand side. Son angles it back. Eriksen could be in here, shoots. It's deflected across the penalty area. Moura back to Dele Alli in the D. Dele Alli through into the box to Eriksen, and then it's poked away, scrambled away by City, and De Bruyne is blatantly checked by Wanyama as City look to break away, and that's a yellow card for Victor Wanyama.
I think that's called taking one for the team.
He did, and it was very effective. And he certainly did take him out as well, incidentally. So we're into the last 15 minutes. Again, UEFA assured us that all of that time that it took for that review will be added on at the end of this game. But now Manchester City have got to get back into their stride again. As it is, Spurs are going through. So that's quite a talking point there. I guess the feeling is that his arm was tucked into his body, but it clearly on the replays that we saw flicked the elbow and then hit the body and then into the back of the net. Gundogan, here's Agüero.
It doesn't matter whether it's deliberate anymore, does it? It just matters whether it hits it.
Yeah. Mendy plays it across. Company now to the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva into the box on his left foot, turns, Rose, back onto his right, then back onto his left, shoots across, and Lloris went down. It took a deflection, that carried it wide, corner City.
Good defending from Tottenham. 2 or 3 players facing Bernardo Silva there. He tries to go left and right, then gets his shot away in a good block, and it's out for a corner.
So the score is 4-3 to Manchester City. That's 4-4 on aggregate. Spurs are going through to play Ajax. De Bruyne takes this corner to the near post, deflected away, and it comes out for the shot from Gundogan, who was very optimistic there, and it flew away over the angle of post and bar through a crowd of players, and it's a goal kick. So back to the Dragao, because there's been another goal with you there, Ian Dennis.
Yes, the half, 13 minutes remain. Liverpool lead 3-1 on the night. The 2 substitutes combining. Jordan Henderson with a cross. Firmino unmarked downward header. 3-1 Liverpool.
You'll hear Ian, by the way, Saturday afternoon. The 3 o'clock commentary on 5 Live is Wolves against Brighton. Before that, you will hear Manchester City Tottenham when they do it again in the Premier League at 12:30 on Saturday lunchtime. 5 Live Sport for that. But this is the Champions League on 5 Live. Here's Walker down the right-hand side. Manchester City in possession with Walker. Walker's cross. Agüero on the stretch. Agüero's header is saved spectacularly and caught by Lloris to his right.
Well, he shouldn't be getting a header in there against Alderweireld. A good ball whipped in from Walker, and he just finds himself in space. Alderweireld doesn't time it right, and a good header, good save.
As Llorente is challenged illegally, challenges Laporte illegally on the halfway line, and it's a free kick for Manchester City. Could just do with knowing what time Llorente scored that goal, because with the VAR, I'm not sure what time it was that is credited for it. 73 minutes was when Tottenham scored that third goal. Here's Sterling. Sterling now to Agüero in the D. Agüero tries to find a way around the outside of Alderweireld, who got an important touch in. This is a huge challenge for Tottenham now to keep Manchester City out. That Tottenham goal, that VAR Tottenham goal, has checked their progress, but Manchester City looking to get going again. I think we have to give them great credit for not conceding more goals earlier in the half. Tottenham, the way that they defended it. Bernardo Silva through into the penalty area. Sterling on the chase, but Lloris going down to his left just allows it to run through for a goal kick. And we're into the last 10 minutes, Alan.
Yeah, Tottenham have done very well coming back into it. It was a good ball whipped in. I mean, I don't think that is handball, but the protocol that we're told at this level now, at European level, that if it hits your hand in the box, then more often than not it'll either be given a free kick or a penalty.
Listen, we sat in that room and Roberto Rossetti said to us they did not want to see goals being scored off players' arms.
Well, it wasn't. It hit his arm first and went off his hip, but it did hit his arm first. It definitely wasn't deliberate.
It definitely was not deliberate. And his arm, as I say, was tucked into his body. It wasn't an outstretched arm. Lucas Moura being replaced. Ben Davis is coming on now to join the action. And Davis goes across to the left-hand side and motions for Danny Rose to go further forward. So it looks as though Spurs are going to play with the three central defenders and Davis being the left-hand sided of them. Or are they sticking with the back four? Danny Rose has moved quite considerably forward. 4-3 to Manchester City. What a night it's been. Manchester City did get themselves in a position where they were going through when Sergio Agüero put them 4-2 up. That was in the 59th minute, but that goal in the 73rd sees Spurs back in front. De Bruyne now working the ball, but beyond Bernardo Silva. He claims he was fouled there. De Bruyne might have a case as well, I think. And that caused him to be off balance and to pass the ball out of play on the far side of the field. So the quadruple is on the line here. Leroy Sané is now called forward. He scored some important goals for City this season, not least the winner here against Liverpool. That goal, that brilliant free kick goal against Schalke in what was another topsy-turvy Champions League game in the last 16, or at least the first leg was, not the second leg here when City trounced them. Gundogan. They haven't trounced Tottenham tonight. Gundogan out to the right-hand side to Walker. Walker to Bernardo Silva. Time just beginning to run out for Manchester City. 7 minutes plus added time to play. Back to Walker. One goal to City though would swing it their way again. Walker taking the ball on. Dele Alli shielding it. The ball, in fact, that's given as a foul by Walker on the back of Ali, and it's a free kick to Tottenham. And we're going to see Mendy taken off. So this is gung-ho for City now. Leroy Sané coming onto the field. So City now have on the field Sané, Sterling, Agüero, Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne.
And the first thing he did when he came on was tell Sterling to push up nearer Sergio Agüero so he can occupy this left-hand side.
Take it from us. City are going to go for this big time. Throw in for City. Company plays it across to Laporte. Laporte, here's Sané now getting his first touch of the ball. Back to Laporte again. Laporte, white shorts, muddied. Forward towards Sterling on the left-hand side. Sané tries to take it away, but Alderweireld was able to hook it up and away. Laporte wins a towering header against Eriksen. De Bruyne and Gundogan lose the ball between them, and Eriksen goes for goal from inside his own half, and it lands on the chest of Ederson, who very coolly, almost as if to say, "You what?" backpedals and just chests it down.
Very cheeky.
Yeah. But a great response from Ederson as well, as Fernandinho is tripped blatantly by Danny Rose and is left on his knees. Free kick to Manchester City. Just over 5 minutes to play, and it's a free kick for City. Fernandinho is back on his feet. De Bruyne almost feel that Manchester City are just collecting themselves now to go for one final big push to see if they can find the goal to knock Tottenham out. Bernardo Silva now through to De Bruyne. De Bruyne's ball across, takes a double deflection and is cleared away by the second of them off Alderweireld. Bernardo Silva on his left foot. Bernardo Silva plays it across to Fernandinho. Fernandinho chips it across the box. Sané heads it in, and then Gundogan was in there in the 6-yard box. Went for it first time, but lifted it high over the near post.
I didn't think he knew where he was. It was a good ball into Sané. He headed it down into Gundogan, and he just sort of looked up and panicked. He didn't realise he was only 5 or 6 yards out. Skied it over the bar.
So another goal to Liverpool, by the way. Van Dijk has scored, and it is Porto 1, Liverpool 4. 6-1 on aggregate to Liverpool, and that is decisive. By the way, we should say that yellow card that when was Son booked? I'm being told that Son received a yellow card, which would mean that he would be suspended for the second leg. I have to say, I'm not sure I saw Son get a yellow card. Fernandinho playing the ball out towards Sané on the left-hand side. If he was booked, he would miss the first leg of the semi-final. Gundogan playing it through, bounces off Sané, and it's played away by Trippier inside the box. Here is Son. Son taking the ball. He's having a look infield, looking for the pass to Eriksen, but Eriksen was moving infield, and the pass from Son went down the line.
It might have been for kicking the ball away, from that free kick.
So he was. That is confirmation that Son was yellow carded. And so would miss the first leg of the semi-final. Currently Spurs are going through to that, but might face the first leg without Harry Kane and Son. Manchester City trying to change all that. Here is Sané on the left-hand side. Sané up against Son. Son did well, got a foot in, and then is able to poke it forward towards Llorente. And currently Llorente is the tie winner with that goal, but Llorente's pull forward just gives possession back to Manchester City. Tottenham are going to bring on Davinson Sanchez presently.
Son's been magnificent tonight, hasn't he? His goals, his effort, his work rate, his ability.
Sterling, this is all on the left-hand side for Manchester City. Company slightly behind Fernandinho, uses Walker immediately to his right, and then Fernandinho again. Tottenham have got everyone behind the ball. Fernandinho clips it out towards the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva, back to Walker. Walker's low ball is straight at Danny Rose, and then Rose runs into trouble. Fernandinho with a challenge. Agüero slips as he passes it forward. It bounces away for Tottenham, and then Fernandinho hacks down Danny Rose. The referee plays an advantage though. Eriksen back to Llorente, who plays the ball over the top, but Ederson out of the penalty area. And I must say, I thought that Dele Alli was probably in an offside position anyway. But Manchester City back on the ball again. Walker just flicks the ball right-footed right across the pitch here to Laporte. 3 minutes to play, less than 3 minutes to play. Tottenham are going through unless Manchester City can find a goal. So the quadruple could come to an end. The potential of that quadruple could end here in the next few minutes. Here's Bernardo Silva back onto his right foot. Bernardo Silva, little touch to Walker. Walker's high cross towards the back post. Lloris gets up and is able to catch that, with Fernandinho closest to him, and he holds the ball, the Tottenham goalkeeper, as well he might.
Well, it was a poor ball in from Walker, wasn't it? It was too high and too easy for Lloris, who took it comfortably, not really under a lot of pressure.
Last season Manchester City went out of the Champions League here in the quarter-finals to another Premier League club in Liverpool, and here 12 months on, unless they can score, they're going out at home to a Premier League club. What a feather in the cap this would be for Tottenham. Gundogan Now towards the edge of the penalty area, high, but Trippier was underneath it, gives it to Son to Eriksen forward towards Llorente on the right hand side. Gundogan comes across. Llorente, I think it's probably reached that stage of the game where Tottenham look towards the corner flag. Eriksen, however, chips it high. Rose will do well to take that down, but he has taken it down, and he takes it into the full-back position. He could cross if he wants, but he waits and he gives it back behind him to Dele Alli. And now Ben Davis forward towards Rose, who'd come back from an offside position. So it's a free kick to Manchester City. And in fact, City are able to take it on, but Agüero's lost it. But I think the referee is saying, hang on a minute, we're going to have that free kick.
He just gave them the advantage there, and then Tottenham won the ball back, so he blew up for a free kick, and Tottenham are about to make another substitution, try and waste a little bit more time.
Yeah, Danny Rose, so it is definitely now 3 central defenders, because Sanchez is going to come on to take the place of Danny Rose. So Sanchez is on, and the score is 4-3, and we're in the 90th minute. City, it's been, what a night it's been here, and Tottenham, who've had to face all sorts of accusations, increasingly so over the Pochettino years, of whether they have the bottle. 5 minutes of added time. Here's Son in possession. Manchester City have 5 minutes to score the goal that would take them through and knock Tottenham out. Otherwise, Tottenham are going through to the semi-finals. Throwing to City. Gundogan takes it back towards Vincent Kompany. In fact, it's Fernandinho. Vincent Kompany is now heading forward as well to join the front line. Fernandinho hits it high, looking for Kompany. That's won well in the air by Ben Davis. Eriksen trying to shield it from Sterling. Free kick for that little challenge by Eriksen on Sterling, and it's a free kick for Manchester City. Not sure it was from there. They've stolen a few yards. De Bruyne plays it to Bernardo Silva, now to Sterling, right side of the penalty area. There's a little kick there by Dele Alli. Sterling went down, no free kick. I thought he caught him. Dele Alli just hits it long for Son to chase. Sané gets there first for Manchester City. 5 minutes being played of added time, and we're already in the second one of those. Sané comes out with the ball, and Sané runs forward, but then in comes the challenge from Wanyama. And Wanyama just, well, I think he kicked for touch and put it out of play for a throw into Manchester City.
Good defending from him, though, because he was faced with Sané one-on-one. He took the ball away, he looked up, no one there, put it out for a throw and try and waste time.
What a test this is for Tottenham, to hold out here at the Etihad for the final few minutes against Manchester City with all of these attacking players on the field, and Vincent Kompany up there as well. Here's Fernandinho lifts it to the right hand side to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva can find space where you can't believe. Here's the ball played in left-footed, headed away to Fernandinho, and the D thought about a shot, played it back to Bernardo Silva. Now Gundogan to Sané in the penalty area, now out of the box, across to Gundogan. Gundogan's going to try a shot, that's blocked on the edge of the penalty area to Dele Alli, and now Son, and Tottenham might break here. If Spurs score again, then that will be it. And Eriksen, though, plays the ball back. It's bounced for Agüero goes to Sterling, left-footed, he scored! Sterling in added time scores the hat-trick goal that takes Manchester City through to the semi-finals. What incredible Champions League drama! Is there nothing that Guardiola's Manchester City team cannot do this season? The quadruple's back on. Guardiola celebrates. He jumps into the arms of his staff. What an absolute sickener for Tottenham.
Unbelievable. They lose the ball in the midfield. Eriksen just gets the ball taken off him. He tries to pass it. A little deflection into Agüero, and I think the referee's checking it. He's checking VAR.
What is he checking?
Agüero could be offside when that ball goes into him.
Oh, this is massive. Well, the referee is still talking away, so the goal hasn't been given yet. Manchester City and Guardiola is coming to the fourth official. Oh, the referee has given the signal.
Offside.
The rectangle in the air.
Given offside.
The goal's ruled out. Oh, what incredible drama. The goal is ruled out. It remains 4-3 to Manchester City. Sterling's hat-trick goal does not count, it doesn't stand, and Tottenham are still going through.
Well, that ball off Eriksen, he took the ball off him, then it took a little deflection, and then Agüero, I think he's a yard offside, and Guardiola goes running down the touchline celebrating, and the referee goes to VAR. Just a deflection off Bernardo Silva.
That is incredibly cruel. Guardiola has peeled off that grey hooded cardigan. He's all in black now. That might be very appropriate. We're going to have much more time added on than the 5 minutes, though. There is still time yet. 4-3 to Manchester City. Tottenham are going through on the away goals rule.
This is unbelievable,
isn't it? Forward from Ederson, headed away on the edge of the box. Manchester City still alive. Sterling tried to win the ball back. Now Fernandinho in the centre circle. Out to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva, sky blue shirts pouring forward. De Bruyne's cross is blocked by Dele Alli, bounces out of play. Throw in on the far side. I'll make it. We've had the 5 minutes of added time, but there will be more. Liverpool are heading through comfortably in Portugal. Manchester City are going out at this rate. Here the ball played across. Sané tries to win a header. That was well won by Trippier. Gundogan. Only seconds left. Fernandinho plays it into the area. Company tried to flick it on, challenged by Alderweireld. They were howling and appealing for a free kick on the edge of the box. That wasn't given. It's belted out of play on the halfway line. It's a throw-in to Manchester City, and the referee's just stopping play to say that he wants the throw-in taken from the right place. Thought for a minute there we were going to get another VAR decision. Fernandinho now long and forward towards the edge of the box. Company beaten to it by Ben Davies, and Dele Alli is just going to run the ball away downfield. Dele Alli is taking it deep into Manchester City territory. He's only got one thing in mind, and that is to eat up the remaining seconds. Turns, plays it back. Ben Davies is taking it on. Davies plays it across to Son from the angle. Ederson comes out and blocks it behind. It's a Tottenham corner. That's exactly what they want. This could be the final action of the match.
Good play from Dele Alli, just taking the ball on the left-hand side, then it switches it onto the right-hand side, and Son, typically, who's been superb in this game, gets the effort at goal, but blocked by the goalkeeper. That will do for Tottenham. Out for a corner to waste a bit more.
Corner for Spurs. Pochettino's peeled off his jacket. He's suggesting to the fourth official that cannot possibly be more time. We've had 6.5 minutes of added time, and there it is. The final whistle goes on an extraordinary night of Champions League football here in Manchester that has seen Tottenham go through to the semi-finals. Manchester City are out in the quarter-finals for the second year running, and the quadruple will not happen for City this season. Tottenham will play in a semi-final in this competition for the first time since 1962. For the first time as the Champions League, and what a celebration from their players, who go skipping and dancing across to celebrate in front of the Tottenham fans, who are twirling their scarves and singing Tottenham songs. They said that this Tottenham team of Mauricio Pochettino's didn't have it. They didn't have the winning mentality. They didn't have the bottle. Well, they've shown what they've got here tonight. They've knocked out Manchester City.
Wow, this game had absolutely everything. Provided us with incredible entertainment. Well done to both sets of teams. Well done to Tottenham Hotspur for digging deep when they had to, for finding that desire and hunger to keep on coming back and not giving up and digging deep every single time, getting the goal. Little bit of luck here and there, but they were incredible this evening. Both teams, what a game.
But that extraordinary finale, when we thought that City had turned it, we thought Sterling had scored, but VAR made the call, played its part. That goal didn't stand, and so Manchester City win by 4-3, but Tottenham go through on the away goals rule after a 4-4 aggregate score, and Pep Guardiola has gone around the players and is walking off the field with his grey cardigan tucked under his arm, and he's staring at the turf, and he's walking head down. He looks absolutely shattered, he looks devastated, and he walks now out of our sight and away to the dressing rooms while Tottenham celebrate. What a night of Champions League football.